This is Wesley,
This is Ka'shenia.
and we would like to welcome you to the
The
Underground Geek
Underground
Shack.
Geek Shack. I almost said video game edition.
Well,
It's
it's
been
not
a
video.
minute.
It's been a minute. We ain't doing video game edition. That's gonna be a minute till you can figure out a travel situation.
Yeah, because I'm still getting things set up, but other than it not being the video game edition, I'm so freaking excited for this episode. There's a lot of multiple reasons why I'm excited for this episode, but I'll let Wesley start us off first.
So we are gonna be talking about the anime Toradora. But
Toda,
beforehand,
yes.
hey Kashina, you want to know something?
What, Wes?
In life, you're going to come to a crossroads. You can
Mhm.
either turn back, go the
Mhm.
opposite direction, or stop. But at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. I give you something philosophical to think about, and you're texting?
Oh my god! Oh my god! What did they do? Oh my god! The kids have gone rogue. I have to say, Toradora. Okay, so let me be completely honest. I'm gonna put this out in the air so that it's known to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I came into this anime, I didn't know what to expect. One, I've been watching a lot of shonen. I have what I like to call shonen mindset right now, where
Oh,
I'm
I
just
thought
kind of
you were
like,
gonna say Shonen Fever, where it's literally
no.
nothing but shonen.
Well, no, because of all the shonen I've been watching and stuff like that, I just have like the shonen mindset of like epic fights and stuff like that, things that are on the line, and so I'm just kind of like, yeah, yeah, action, 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 and then Wesley's just like, we're gonna watch a rom com, and I'm like, oh.
It's only the
So
only reason why I said that, right, was because when you came to me and you're like, "Hey, you're making me watch nothing but shonen," and I was like, "All right, we can watch a rom com." And you're like, "No, no, 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 we're good, we're good. I don't need to watch a rom com." I said, "Nah, too late. We watching a rom com."
So no, let me explain my disdain for rom coms, and this doesn't come from rom com animes. It comes from chick flicks. I
Mm-hmm.
am not the biggest fan of chick flicks. My mom loves to death chick flicks, and I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, all
You gotta
right.
you gotta sit there and slowly drag yourself into the room. All right, let's do this.
I don't like chick flicks. There's just the way it goes, and then
I
miscommunications
feel
and
like
people.
chick flicks.
I'm just like, just talk.
This could all be
Literally,
over if you just talk.
if you just spoke.
Like
So
I feel like the because like I don't really like chick flicks either. I mean,
yeah,
you even you know this. I live in a single parent household,
yeah. I mean,
and
same.
like whenever it came to chick flicks, I'm like, can y'all just talk? Like
Yeah.
like
Oh my god,
seriously,
that's just
like
me
I'm
all the time.
like you both are in a freaking diner, but you can't confess your feelings to each other, so you do a roundabout situation, be like, hey, the weather looking kind of cool right now, just like a certain someone I know, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you
Like,
doing?
there's such a roundabout way, but I don't know why. When it comes to like actual chick flicks, I absolutely hate it. But with some anime, I'm just kind of like, all right, I could see. And with this specific anime, I can tolerate it.
Mm-hmm.
I have some qualms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at me pulling out the big words. I
Look at
have
you.
some qualms,
Qualms. All right. Okay.
but I'm just kind of like, all right, I could deal with this. So, Toradora. The main summary is there is a guy named Ryuji looking so scary, so thug because his father was part of the Yakuza. I mean, am I wrong? I've played a lot of Yakuza games. I know what a Yakuza looks like. That dude, Yakuza.
All right.
Or Yakuza. But so we have Ryuji. He just wants a normal life. He's in love with the baseball star that is Minori.
Cruciator.
Minori Kushieda. And then we have Taiga, a small but very outgoing, outbursting, very strong, will rip your head off probably, little girl who is in love with the class representative. Shoot, I forgot his first name. All I can
Oh
remember
my
is Kitamori.
gosh.
Kitamura.
You're talking about Kinemura. I just like the
Kitamura.
fact that I forgot his name.
I forgot his first name. I
It's
know
Kinemura.
Kitamura. Kitamura's his first name?
I just call him Kinemura.
But no, it's Yusaku.
You suck.
Anyway,
Just call him Kinemura.
yeah, we're
Just
just gonna
plain
skip
and
the
simple.
Kitamura. So we have Kitamura. So we think, all right, cool. This is our main cast. This is who we're gonna stick with. But then episode 5 rolls around, and then we're introduced to
Get it out. It's Ami.
we are introduced to Ami. Now here is my thing with
Hmm.
Ami. You
Hmm.
know, she does have a character growth. I do grow to eventually like her.
Hmm.
But man, the first time she's introduced, I can't say it because we're PG.
Okay.
She
Okay.
is such a witch.
I mean, yeah, that you can put it like that. The thing
Yeah.
is that when Ami first appears, you're not supposed to like her.
No, I know.
I I'm gonna admit this to you now. I've already admitted to you this once before, but this is technically my eighth time watching Toradora.
Hmm.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like, what?
Wesley,
Eight
at this
times? But I already
at
told
this
you
point
this.
in time, I can see why, because it is one of those comfort animes. I mean, I'll be quite honest, the amount of times I've watched the movie Spirited Away is uncountable. So to have a comfort show, I understand.
This show also, since there is no second season.
Okay, so that's okay. Let me say something real quick. So I've
Hmm.
been on to my anime list. That's
Hmm.
where I keep all of my
I mean,
uh,
yeah.
list
That
of
that's
anime
where
and stuff like
that's
that.
where you and majority of other people keep all their anime, except for me.
But because I like keeping track of how much I watch. But
Hmm.
when it comes to my anime list, it has Toradora, and then it
Hmm.
has like Toradora 2 or Toradora more, or there's like OVAs of Toradora. So I'm just kind of like, does the story continue? I'm
I
gonna
got
have to do some.
I got
I'm.
no clue
I'll
because
have to
I've
do some
I've
more
only
research.
watched what we've watched from Totodora. So those 25 episodes, I've
Yeah.
only watched those 25. So I have no clue if there's OVAs or if there is a certain another thing. So I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, I want closure.
No, I understand. Well, I mean, we did technically get
I mean,
closure.
like we kind of got closure, but it kind of puts you in a bad spot because I mean, yeah, they're out of high school, but like, what happens now? Like hello, like
Well, I
the
mean,
palm top tiger of happiness.
yeah. Also, I just like her nickname, the Palm Top Tiger. But no, so I'll have to do some more research to look into it because, like I said, I did see some more things other than just first season Toradora, and I
Hmm.
thought you might have known more about it. But we'll
No,
look at that in the future, and maybe that might be a future episode. Who
I know there's
knows?
a manga for Totodora.
I don't. We'll
There
have to
is.
Google that.
I've seen it with my own two eyes. I just never picked it up.
Now, here's the thing: did the manga come out before the anime, or did it come
I
out
saw it at our local
after?
bookstore. What do you expect me
No,
to
no,
do?
no, no. What I meant was the release
I
of it.
don't know.
Because
Like I said, I saw the manga cover at our
yeah.
local bookstore, and I
Mhm.
never picked it up. I'm probably if I ever go back there, they're probably gonna be like, "Yeah, we don't have that anymore."
But wait, so I feel like we got off track.
We probably have. Let's get back on track. Let's get
But
back on this roller coaster. What we
the
you were
last thing
talking
that we
about
talked
Ami.
about,
You
yeah,
were
you were
talking
saying
about
that
Ami.
Ami was like introduced to, and you were meant to not like her.
Exactly.
So yes, I understand this. So let me tell you what I thought. Let me tell you how things were gonna go when we were introduced to Ami.
Hmm.
So I thought Ami was she did become a love interest, but I thought she was gonna like Kitamura.
No,
The fact
no.
that she
When
liked Ryuji, I was kind of like, oh, okay, because you hear them say, oh, she is Kitamura's childhood friend and stuff like that. It's like, oh, the childhood friendship where they blossom into a relationship. But then when she shows her true face, and Kitamura already knows, I'm
Hmm.
just kind of like, okay, okay. So Kitamura already knows that she's just a terrible human being. But why are
Right.
you friends with her?
Like when you were saying that, like, oh, it's the friendship trope. I get where you're coming from because it's,
Yeah.
usually when it's the friendship trope, it's, oh, the dude is best friends with this such and such person, in this case
Silent
Ami,
voice.
and so Kinemura and Ami are the friendship, so it's quote unquote obvious that they're gonna get together. But for someone who's watched this a total of 8 times, but yeah.
He's watched this a total of 8 times. But
But
no,
when, like for me, right?
yeah,
Because I don't watch this, back to back to back to back to back to back.
yeah,
When whenever I rewatch Toradora, I rewatch it with, yeah, like I'm getting excited for the first time.
yeah,
And when that happened, I looked at Ami and I was like, and you can tell that when she was talking to Ryuji, she lights up
yeah,
and you're like, oh, she's interested in Ryuji. And
yeah.
then
They're
because
like when the little signs started showing.
there's the moment where she says, it's when they're getting the Christmas tree set up,
Hmm.
and she's talking with Ryuji, and she because the one thing she asked him was, how long are you going to continue
Until
to
someone gets hurt.
not that, but it was like, how long are you going to continue to play daddy, until someone gets hurt? Because remember, she was like, oh, you're playing the father, Kushieda's playing the mother, and Taiga's basically being a kid,
Yeah,
and which you can clearly see that dynamic going on. And she was like, if you just forget about it, forget about Taiga, forget about Kushieda, and start over, everything would be better. And then she was like, maybe if you start over, then me and you, and then she stops.
yeah.
And when she stopped, I was like, oh, that means that you could have had your chance with Ryuji instead of all this drama and everything that
So it was
goes
so much
on.
drama. She caused so much drama, and I'm just kind of like, ah. So let me just say something real quick. Like, I want to kind of continue on with what I was saying before. So on my anime list, you know how one of the tags they have this listed under
What?
a love poly yeah, a love polygon. It's not a love triangle, not a love square, a love polygon.
Oh no,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, it completely makes sense. So I thought, I, the way things went was it was just so interesting. So let's take our main five, all right?
Hmm.
So Taiga, and this is how it initially starts. Taiga likes Kitamura. Ryuji likes Kushiega.
Hmm.
I thought, maybe Kushiega might start feeling feelings towards Kitamura or something like that. But then comes Ami. I'm just kind of like, oh no, the drama, the tension. But no, the way things came out was, yeah, at first Kitamura liked Taiga, but Taiga rejected him. So then Taiga was like down in the dumps. And then he fell in love with the class president, or I mean the class sergeant, as some people like to call her by. So he falls in love with her. And, she kind of pushes him down, but it's only because she doesn't want him to give up everything just for her. And he's just kind of like, you don't dictate my life. I will do what I must.
Hmm.
And he's just like, I'm coming to America with you, baby. And I'm just like, my boy, you're just gonna go to America? Okay. So, Kitamura chases after his love. I'm just kind of like, yes, good, perfect. The two I do kind of feel bad for, even though I didn't like Ami at first.
Hmm.
I feel bad for Ami because she kind of realized herself that she kind of screwed things up.
Hmm.
But she kind of already knew that Ryuji cared a lot about Taiga.
Right.
And when Ami realized she could be herself around Ryuji, that's when she started to fall in love. But she tried to do that by pushing away the thing that Ryuji cares for,
Hmm.
which just pissed off Ryuji to no end. So
Yeah.
then she came to that realization of, I already screwed up. My chances with Ryuji is probably none.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets heartbroken and she's just kind of left to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is a line that was said in there where Kushiega got dumped by both Taiga and
And
Ryuji,
Ryuji.
because you could tell that Kushiega cares so much for Taiga.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that was done throughout that show,
Mm-hmm.
Kushiega cares so much for Taiga, even to the point where she knew she was in love with Ryuji, but she was like, I know Taiga needs him more. Therefore, I will push my feelings to the side. And I'm just kind of like, oh no!
And the fact of, since we're on the topic of Kushieda right now, the
Yeah.
mo that ghost metaphor was used a whole bunch.
It
The
was.
ghost and UFO metaphor for basically love was used throughout that entire thing. And I'm like, if you don't sit here and just straight up say, hey, yo, I'm in love with you. I was like, but you can't sit there and say, I'm in love with you because you don't even understand your own feelings. And the one thing that Ami says that it kind of hit kind of hard though was when she said, the one person you can't be honest, you can never be honest with is yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, snap. I was like,
It
that's kind of true though. Cause
it was,
because like
you know,
when you're trying to, when you're
like Kushiega was just, she was aggressively telling the truth, and it hurts, and you can tell how much it hurts because not Kushiega, Ami. Sorry.
you're good, you're good.
Ami
The
was being just very aggressively truthful. She's just kind of like, oh my god, here you are pretending to be happy when you're actually not. How about you
exactly.
stop talking and actually listen to yourself for once? And I'm like, Ami, I get baby, sweetheart, child. I know what you're trying to do, but listen, you're being really, really rough right now.
See, the thing I was gonna say was that, like, in the terms of, because basically everyone needed to be honest with themselves.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is that, like, because you're dealing with your own emotions, and then you're also trying to figure out how does person B feel about you? And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, I like person C. And then you're like, well, I need to protect person B from any harm whatsoever. And then you're basically bottling up all of your emotions to the point where one wrong thing is said, you snap, or in Cruciate's case, silence child. And
Silence, child. Just her spouting out different quotes. I'm just like, who is she?
and like you end up snapping, and to
Yeah,
the point where I mean, it's rough, because I mean, we were all young at one point. We all know what it's like to have these emotional attachments to another person who doesn't really technically feel the same way that you kind of do. And then
yeah,
it's like when you get like during the Christmas party,
yeah,
when Ryuji gets dumped by Kushieda.
yeah.
So he was working up the nerve to say, hey, this is how I feel about you. Before he ever got the chance to say it, she shot him down.
Kushiega, yeah, she was just like, I'm already going. She's like, I already know where this is going. In her head, she doesn't say it out loud. She wants to put it down so that, because like we've been saying this whole time, she's putting down her feelings
Mm-hmm.
for Taiga.
Exactly.
And let me tell you what else was like very surprising to me about Kushiega, because she kind of changed in a way that I wasn't exactly expecting her to. She's very comical. Like at first, we see that she's the comic relief, she's the jock, but she's also like the life of the party, and she always wants to be happy and cheerful and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So when we had that scene where she says, "I have never seen a ghost," and but some people see ghosts but they choose not to believe in it. Some people has never seen a ghost and they choose to believe in ghosts. So she says, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to believe in something that I haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe at first this was her way of saying, I'm not interested in love.
Mm-hmm.
because that she started going off about that when he asked, "Do you have a boyfriend?"
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe, oh, well, this is interesting. Ryuji's in love with a girl who maybe just has no romantic feelings. Maybe she's just like, there are other things in life that are my main focus. Love isn't being one of them. Maybe she'll find love later on in life. Maybe she won't, and she just might be okay with that. I was just kind of like, okay, okay. You know what? This is very, very interesting. But then when we get to the culture festival and we get to the lucky man race,
Mm-hmm.
uh after the race has ended and stuff like that, I just like how she sat there. She's like, I think I might be lesbian. And I was like, excuse me? Ka'shenia? And she's like, maybe
Like
that's why I'm so
the
jealous when you're around Taiga. And I was like, oh, she's in love with Taiga. And I was just like, this makes, I can see that
mm-hmm.
because her reaction, we're going to get to this, but just her reaction to when Ryuji was saying that Taiga's dad was coming back
Into her life, yeah.
into her life, just her dropping the carefree, happy, go lucky, the usual
Mm-hmm.
Kushiega that we see into the I will not let this happen. Like that instant transformation, let me tell you, that scared me. That was one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And I wanted
when that happened, like it's sorry, don't mean to
no
cut you
no
off.
no 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 no
When
you're
when
good.
when Kushieda snapped at that moment, when she
Yeah.
snapped at Ryuji, and she was like, "I can't let this happen again."
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I was like, "What the heck is getting into you?" Like what? And then I was like, "Wait, again? This has happened once before."
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, well, yo, let me in on the details. Like, maybe I can try and like do something to negate what's going on here, you
Yeah.
know. And then it hit when, you know, Taiga was telling Ami, hey, during the, performance and everything, can we switch roles? And I was like, oh, because she wants to impress her dad. And then I'm like, he's not gonna show.
That
That was even before they ever decided to do the performance, and I'm like, he's not gonna show due to the fact of when Ryuji went to meet Taiga's dad instead of Taiga meeting her dad, and then Taiga gets kept coming home late, and then she's like, oh, dad took me here, we went here, and then when she kept looking at her phone, and you're like, who is she texting? And then you're like, she's texting her dad, dad's not responding, and then sends a message to Ryuji, hey, can you relay a message to Taiga for me? I'm not going to be able to show up. Work is getting hectic. And I'm like,
and
oh,
he even said, us being able to live together isn't going to exactly work out either because I have to move out of town.
mm-hmm.
Like, ah,
Even the
and then
fact of when, because Taiga's dad even went to Taiga's apartment and said, all right, we're getting rid of everything. She's coming back home with me. Yasu overhears this, and she's like, what do you mean she's moving away? She's still part of my family.
she was like, he's so selfish, and
Mm-hmm.
we see that because at first I wanted to believe, like, okay, I don't know if you've ever seen Soul Eater, but if you've ever seen the the relationship between Maka, one of the main characters in Soul,
Mm-hmm.
one of the
Yeah.
weapons for the Soul Reaper, uh it's she doesn't like her dad because she thinks very low of her dad. And yes, her dad is a little bit of a sleaze bag, but he will give up anything just to ensure that his daughter is well taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was going to be that type of relationship, but seeing, because I was trying to be like Ryuji and being like, maybe this is sort of a good thing, but things slowly started becoming worse. Where uh, Taiga couldn't show up for dinner, and she usually has dinner at Ryuji's place. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, a little bit concerning, but They're spending time together. Taiga's dad just coming up into the apartment and saying like, she's moving back home. I'm like, no, mm,
Like
I don't
something
know.
ain't right here.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Yeah.
Uh, Him saying, yeah, my new wife is it's pretty young, and so it caused some issues between Taiga and her, and they just couldn't live under the same roof. But me and my new wife are divorcing, and I'm just kind of like, so it wasn't convenient back then. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't. It wasn't a hey, it's either my daughter or you. It's no, if you can't live with my wife, maybe it's good if you just don't live with us.
Right.
And just hearing just kept hearing more and more and more. And then just the him not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came to the pageant, him not being there.
Right. Right.
I was like, ah, okay.
And that's it made it hit even harder when you see that Ryuji starts clapping and then you hear clapping from the back and you know that it's Kushieda and you're
Well,
just
no, it was Kushiega. I
like
think she was the one that started it first, and then Ryuji jumped in because he
yeah, but
realized
like at that point I was like you got to do I was looking at Ryuji I'm like dude you got to do something. You got to do something. I'm like her dad ain't there. You basically are kind of like the quote unquote father figure in her
yeah,
life. And I'm like, you might want to step in, like, and so when he starts moving forward, and I was like, okay, okay, okay. And then I was like, I can't look at this. It was like, oh no.
it was really hard for me to watch because I mean I personally don't know what it's like to not like one of your parents.
Mm-hmm.
I live in a situation where I know both of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Are they together? No, but I at least know both of them and stuff like that. So I have no resentment towards any of them. But to be in the situation of Taiga must be extremely rough because she doesn't like her mother.
Mm-hmm.
She's not really exactly fond of her dad either. Even though at that one point in time you were thinking maybe things are healing and stuff like that, just to resent both of your family and being like, screw it, I'm going to take care of myself.
Right.
I am going to live in this apartment. I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm just kind of like mind blown. You're in high school. You're
Mm-hmm.
just gonna take care of yourself just like that.
The one thing that when I was watching it and Taiga and Ryuji went to the store and Taiga needed to, get some money out of her bank account. And
And it was empty.
and she was like, "What the heck? I can't get any money out. My balance is zero." And I was like, "Oh, he's just using you. He's basically using you. Basically like, "Oh,
That's
well, if you don't answer my calls, I'm going to take all your money out of your account. If
like
you don't do this, then I'm not doing this." And I'm like, "That's
that
messed up."
that was extremely messed up because like that's your daughter, that's your child, you're taking care of a child. It's not a, oh, what if she continued to choose not? Were you just going to be like, well, I guess she'll just die in the streets then? No, you should always want to take care of your kid, even if they don't want to talk to you. You should still be like, I care for you. If you really do care, just be like, I know we're in a rough patch right now, stuff like that, but I at least want you to still live. Yes,
Right.
I want us to be able to talk. I know we're probably not on talking terms right now, but you living is more important than you wanting to like build a deeper connection to me. It's just Tyga's dad. He's a little bit, but I'm almost done with the Tyga's dad rant. So
Mm-hmm.
the what I want to continue off from here is it's not Tyga's dad himself.
Right.
It's how Ryuji kind of inserted himself into the situation. I know he was hoping that this was like going to be good for Tyga. This was like a good, progression for her, continuing on and stuff like that. I understand his want and for Tyga just to be happy with her family because she's in a situation where she doesn't have no family. He at least has his mom.
And that's
Now
the
he
that's the thing is when Ryuji is confronting Taiga about this, right? And he's like, you need to, your dad's trying to step back into your life. He's trying to help, he's trying to be there for you. And the one thing Ryuji says is, my dad's never coming back.
Yeah. And
And
that's when you kind of start realizing, hold on, is this really for Taiga? Or are you, in a way, trying to live through Taiga? Of
right,
like, in a way, he never said it out loud, but this is his way of saying, you are at least going to have your dad, you
right.
know? You at least have your dad. You have both your dad and your mom. I only have my mom.
I only
So,
have Yasu. Like, it's just been me and Yasu since I was born.
and that has
And
been like the one thing that kind of confused me is the fact that he doesn't really call his mom that much. His name, he just like, yeah, it's Yasu. And I'm like, wait a second, why why don't you call your mom? So weird, but
I
no,
just found that interesting, though. It's that, like, since it's just been Yasu and Ryuji, and Yasu is working all these different jobs, it's probably hard for her to sit there when she comes home and Ryuji calling her mom. Yasu's just like, just call me Yasu. And so from probably that point on, it's probably just stuck with, it's Yasu, it's
yeah.
Yasu, it's Yasu. Then when he goes to school, he's like, oh, I haven't talked to my mom. Because there's the times where he's talking with his teacher and
Yeah, that one time, yeah, I haven't
oh,
spoken
I
to
haven't
Yasu.
talked to
I mean,
my
my
mom.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like, that's very interesting. And, he still respects his mom and stuff like that. It's a very interesting, progression of how they kind of define their relationship where she is a mother.
Mhm.
She is his mother, but they're more or less just siblings in a way. Okay, so
You might need to explain that one.
what I mean
Explain
is
it to me. Explain it to me. That's the only thing.
Yasu doesn't try to like show. Yes, she has motherly love. She's overly like, I'm going to do whatever I can for you because your future is what matters and stuff like that. Yes, that's a very motherly trait and stuff like that. But there are times where it seems like a younger sibling taking care of an older sibling
No,
type of
yeah,
vibe.
that makes
Yeah,
sense. Now that you put it like that, that makes total sense.
yeah. In a
Because
way, it
there are times when, like, when Ryuji's walking around the house and he's like, Yasu, what the heck are you doing? And Yasu is playing around and she grab, how, like, she grabs Ryuji with her legs and she's like, I got you. And literally Ryuji's still walking and just drags her out, like, just drags her out of the bed. And I'm like,
yeah,
this is a sibling relation. This is almost like a sibling kind of
relationship.
thing.
Yeah,
And where it's like, at this point, it's like as if Ryuji and Yasuko don't have the motherly role, like the person that's actually like the grand, like technically the grandmother is technically the mother of, like, if Yasuko and Ryuji are basically the siblings, it's basically, yeah, then Yasuko's parents are basically the parents of both of them.
yeah. It kind of
So
does. It kind of does feel like that. And as you were saying, just during that first episode where she playfully grabs a hold of his legs and stuff like that, it kind of just shows like that where, yeah, she is the mom in the way of like, we're being literal here. She is his mom, but they
yeah.
just don't act like it. You can still tell, you can still tell that Yasu truly does care a lot about Ryuji. She
Mm-hmm.
literally just wants nothing but the best for him.
Because, like, when she was telling Ryuji, she was like, you're gonna go to college, get scholarships, college is gonna basically eat you up. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's something that you would want for your kid.
And
You want
she's
your
like,
kid to go to college.
and she's
And
even said stuff like, "You're not allowed to have a job."
exactly, right? And she's
Like
like, she's like,
you
she's
can
like, the
tell she
only
doesn't
the only
have.
reason why you had a job in the first place was because I made a favor.
Yeah,
I asked
she
someone
was like,
for a
"That's the
favor, and that's the one
that
time.
that was
And
the one time I allowed it to happen." and stuff like that.
And the one
Uh,
thing she said was, "Your job is to get good grades."
and it's very interesting to hear her say that because you can tell like she's not a very like authoritative type of parent or stuff like that. You can tell she doesn't really have that many rules and stuff like that. But that is just like the one very serious thing where yeah, it could help out the household if Ryuji got a job and immediately helped out. But no, she's just like, no, you're not having a job. I will make all the money. You just need to worry about going to school. That
Hmm.
is your job, is being a student.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of like, interesting.
yeah.
Now, compare that to, I know we've spoken about Tyga's family relationship.
We talked about the dad, just haven't talked
With
about her ma.
her mom, she, at first, I thought she might like her mom. You know,
Hmm.
she said she doesn't really see her that much. I feel like this might be something good to talk about after we speak about the next point you wanted to talk about,
Oh
which
yes,
was
the
the
brawl,
boy,
the
the boiling
boiling
point.
point.
Oh my
So
god, that was
I call it the boiling point because that's literally where hands are being thrown, and it's like you're throwing hands verbally and physically.
mm,
And like everyone in class is like, "Hey, settle down. This is the last trip that we get to take as the class." And everyone's like, "Hey, yo, you shut up. We're gonna take you out." And I'm like, "Hey, yo, there's no
hey
need for that."
yo. I'm just like the whole time I'm just like, hey yo,
Right.
we need to calm down.
And then like I
Everyone
thought
was
the
like,
one
I will
funny
rip
thing
your head
that
off.
happened during the boiling point, which is when they were supposed to go to the beach,
Yeah.
and Ryuji's like, I just wish everything would burn to the ground. And then literally the next scene, what? It burned to the ground? And then Ryuji's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like, I'm saying, I feel like this is my fault. So
It's
the
like,
ski trip, and he was just like, so we're going on a ski trip instead. And I'm just like, okay.
like the boiling point is where literally your feelings are being tested at that point because
Yeah.
everyone is at each other's throats, and it's to that point, that's the point where Kushieda and Ami is really testing Kushieda at this point.
Oh yeah, she
and
is.
and it got to the point where like they started throwing hands, like, well, technically it was a slap, and then I was like, oh snap, we going in. We I was like, we going in, because when I first watched this, and I was like, oh, it's just a ski trip. It's just a ski trip. Everything's gonna go
It's gonna
fine.
be
It's
fine.
gonna be
It's gonna be
fine.
fine.
And then Ami and Kushieda are over here yelling at each other. Next thing you know, freaking slap across the face. I was like, this ain't cool. And then like the freaking little hairpin that Kushieda had flies off. Tyga over here trying to run and try to go and get it. She ends up getting hurt, and I'm like, where's Tyga?
And the
And
fact that
then
she was like out there for hours and
right, and
oh,
then
that was
like
terrifying.
everyone else is like, oh well, they got a search team looking for her, and Ryuji's like, no, I'm going out there. And
Yeah.
Kushieda's like, I'm going out there too. And I was like, oh crap, we doing this now. And when he finds Taiga, and he's carrying her back up to the lodge, and she's like, oh, you're Kinamura. I thought you were Ryuji. I'm in love with Ryuji. And I'm like, okay. So in this daze that Taiga's in, she confesses her love to Ryuji.
Yeah. Which is
Ryuji
then
is hearing all this, and he's like,
and then I like how he went up to Kitamura and just kind of like, I need to ask you something.
he's like, hey, yo,
You need
you
to have
were the
been the
one,
one that rescued her.
right?
And I'm just like, brother in Christ.
And then he's like, she didn't say anything on the way up. And I was like, oh, now he's
Oh,
dealing with it. Now he's dealing with it. He's the one that he knows how Taiga feels. And
yeah.
it's the fact of, I know how you feel. Now I got to sit here and be conflicted with myself.
Because all this time, he's been chasing Kushiega and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
Kushiega is just like, I'm gonna push you away. And then he's now realizing Taiga is the one that he truly does care for a lot. Like he still likes Kushiega,
Yeah.
but he's in love with Taiga. And so when he starts realizing that and stuff, like the last two episodes are extremely, extremely rough
Mhm.
in a good way because we have the explosion of feelings. Let's talk about episode 24,
Mhm.
where it's they're about to go home or something like that,
Yeah,
and
they're
they
on
were
their
they went to work at the bakery, and then they were on their way home, and then we see Yasuko finally realizes that Ryuji got a job and she's about to go off on him, but
That's
then
right. That's right. Because during this one, well, the episode we were talking about before, like we basically just melded everything into the boiling point. But
yeah, the
um,
episode before
it's the
was
episode
the
before is
biggest
when
confession.
they are literally having Taiga confess. They're like,
Yeah,
"Hey, yo," they're like, "Ryuji, tell her what happened." And when Ryuji's like, "Right, guys, she didn't say anything," and Kushieda's like, "What the heck are you talking about? Like." You were the one who carried her back to the lodge. And
Kitamura's just like, I can't keep this front anymore, and even
right.
Ami was just like, we can't let the lie continue.
And
He's blocking her door.
the fact that you had Kinamura on one side, Ami on the other, they both blocking the exits. I said, yeah, there's no escape unless you're thinking about jumping out that window.
And then, so she starts saying it, like, Taiga starts admitting it. And so she runs over to Ami, and Ami lets her go.
Mm-hmm.
At
Yeah.
first she wasn't, but then she lets her go. And then I like how she looked at Ryuji. She's like, well, are you going to chase after her? It's one of those things where you need to stop being on the sideline and letting things happen. You need to cause it to happen, because that was his issue with Kushiega. He wasn't initiating. He was just going to see if things were going to happen.
Or
So for
in this case, the in the words of Ayashiro, the the former student council president, when she told Kinamura, you need to take that next step.
yeah,
Ryuji in this point, in this moment in time, needed to take that next step.
and I
He
like
already knew that how he felt about Taiga, he
yeah.
needed to now act upon those feelings and chase after Taiga.
And you know what? At first, I was going to be mad that, she was letting Taiga escape, but
Mm,
this was that push that he needed in order for him to, in order for Taiga to realize that her love isn't just one sided.
mm-hmm.
It
Because
was,
the one thing, the funny thing is remember during the pool episode when Ryuji when two of the guys fall and start drowning Ryuji. And the one thing Taiga admits is Ryuji is mine.
mine. Yeah.
And it's not an admission to us, the audience. It's an
It's
admission
admission to
to
herself.
not only herself but to every other character that was there. And when she said Ryuji is mine, you see a smile come across Ami's face.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was that moment of being like, hey, Ryuji's mine, everyone else stay away.
And I wonder, because I can't remember if the camera ever pans over to Kushiega or anything else. I know it definitely panned over to Ami, but I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if it was to have panned over to Kushiega, what her facial expression would have been.
Right.
So after the boiling point, we're going to get to the last two episodes, and then we're going to end off on a more funnier note because, like I said, this is a rom com. There is comedy.
There is comedy. There's a lot of comedy in here.
And we're gonna end off with talking about our favorite comedic moments. But before we get to that, so let's get to the serious part of it. Episode 24 was rough because um, up until this point, Ryuji was kind of dealing with what he wants to do with his future. He wants to help out his mom, but his mom was like, "No, I need you to um, go to college, create a future for yourself, a better future than me."
Mm-hmm.
But then we go over to uh, Tyga, and she's just like, I don't know, I don't care what I do with my future because I'm rich. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But then we start seeing the what they plan on doing because they run into their parents, both of their mothers. Ryuji says some very hurtful things to Yasuko.
Right. Right. And that's it's sad because like because Yasu had fallen ill, because
Yeah,
she's working all these different jobs, and so she falls ill. So Ryuji's like, "Hey, he doesn't tell her I'm gonna take over for you.
Yeah.
And so he goes, and the dude's like, hey, like I was supposed to have Yasu work, today, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then Taiga's like, I'll do it. And then Ryuji's like, I'll do it too. And so that's he's keeping it under wraps from Yasu, which is something
Yeah.
Yasu doesn't like. And so when she's like, why would you lie to me? We told each other that you wouldn't get a job. And when he starts yelling at her, being like, stop living my life to make up for your mistakes, like, my dude, you
I was like,
that hurt. Like when he said that hurt. I was like, Ryuji, like that's your
like,
mom. Like,
you can tell how
no.
much she truly cares for him, and for her to just kind of break like that. Because little do we know, she's basically given up everything,
Mm-hmm.
everything for Ryuji.
Exactly.
And we later find out how deep this goes. But then to also see
Taiga's mom.
Taiga's mother, and for her to kind of refer to when she's like, "Oh, you must be Ryuji. I appreciate you having the patience to take care of my daughter. I know she can be a handful." For her to say that about her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like, you start seeing the cracks in all of the foundations,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, yikes, bro, this is rough. This is really rough. Oof. So then, just to like summarize things that happen,
They
because
decide
we
to
do,
elope.
yeah. Because if anything, I do recommend that you guys watch
Oh
this
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
it's
Go,
anime.
go, going.
But
Highly recommend you go and watch this. It is well, like, and
that's why I
some people would call this a masterpiece, and
don't.
I definitely agree.
Because like I don't want to go into too deep detail about it because I do want other people to watch it. But they plan to run away. They plan to elope,
Hmm.
and they're going back to go get their things. Ryuji saw a note from Yasuko saying, "Take this watch and show it, and this is where your grandparents live. Show it to them. They'll know who you are, and they will help you."
Yeah,
So,
and the thing is that at that moment, that's when Yasu decides to run away too, and I was like, wow.
and so they came up with a plan for, because at first they were just going to run away, but Ryuji was just like, that
Everyone
wouldn't
decided
be,
to pitch in too.
yeah, that
Like
wouldn't be the, yeah.
Kushida, like, hey yo, here's all my savings from all the jobs that I have worked. Take the money. And then Ami's like, hey yo, here's the key to the beach house. Y'all should remember how to get there. And then Kinemura is like, hey yo, I'm pitching in too. Don't spend all this money at one time. And
And he
I'm
gave him
like,
rice
hey
vouchers.
yo.
It's really nice that they're all helping out each other. I'm just like, oh, that's really cute. And
Also, that
then
was also the moment where Ryuji admitted that he liked Taiga, that he was in love with Taiga. Because
he didn't
when
say it. He almost said it. Remember?
no,
Because
well,
that
because
was his,
it was when Ami had asked him, so are you in love with Taiga? And he was like, well, and he goes, she's like, say it. And then he's like, he's like, when she's like, say it, because once you say it, it's already out there. You can
yeah.
actually get it off your chest. So I was like, it's like, all right, yeah, yeah, you might as well say it. Like,
And that
if
was
you're
the one
gonna be on
time.
the run for what was it, like what, a couple months?
It was a couple months.
Like golly. I was like, you gonna have to be dodging the cops?
Like I was just kind of like, oh my god. But continuing going forward, it's they plan to run away to elope. They go over to the grandparents, but then we find out that Ryuji doesn't want things to just kind of end that way.
Right,
Yes, they could have ran away, they could have eloped and stuff like that, but he says that's not the happy ending. Because he says for our wedding day, everybody should be happy, right?
right. He was like, it'd be good to get, you already have the blessing from Yasko. He was like, but
Yeah.
wouldn't it be good to have everyone's blessing? Yasko, my
Well,
grandparents.
technically
Well,
that
because
was said
like when he's talking about it.
That was said after Yasuo came back and reunited
I
with
mean, yeah, but still, like it still makes the point where, like, you need to get everyone's blessing, not only Yasko, not only the grandparents but also Taiga's parents as well.
And that was like that was the one sad turning point that I saw towards the end, was where, after he said that and after they shared their first kiss, which I was kind of like, oh my god, yes.
The
I
one
was
thing
so
you barely
happy.
get to see.
Because when it comes to rom coms, I know the thing is like it takes forever, especially in anime. It takes forever for when we finally get our main OC, our OC pairing, to finally do their first kiss. But you know what? This one was just like, it makes sense because they didn't realize they were in love with each other until they finally realized they were in love for each other. So it
Mm-hmm.
didn't take like 20 episodes where, oh, they're in love with each other in the first episode. Let's wait 50 episodes before they finally hold hands. No, it's just it makes sense in how this one, I can tolerate this. Okay, basically is what I'm trying to say. But after they shared their first kiss and everything, they basically created their wedding day and stuff like that. It was really sweet. It was a really nice and touching moment. I was like, this is. So I was crying. Okay. Because episodes 24 and 25 tore me up mentally, emotionally. I was distraught. I was crying, tears of joy, happiness, sadness. I was crying. But so, like I said, the sad turning point was when Tyga was like, "Yeah, in order for me to like myself, I am going to." She's like, "I need to do things in order for me to love myself, for me to truly love Ryuji."
Mm-hmm.
And to see the screen fade to black, and for us to hear Ryuji say that night Taiga didn't show up for dinner, I was like, come on, man.
And
We
she
just,
also took a picture of the star of the lonely star that was in the sky, and
yeah.
I was like, all right. And then
That's
you
when
hear,
I started crying more, dude.
and when you
Oh,
hear Ryuji sit there and say that night Taiga never showed up for dinner, and I was like, oh snap. I have a feeling I know what's coming. And then the literally the next day, everyone else is at school. You know, you got
the
Kushieda,
next
you got
the next
Ami, and
day
you got Kinemura, and they're all
the
huddled
next
around
day
Ryuji,
the
and they're
next day
like, hey
is when
yo,
the kids
dude,
go
what
rogue.
the heck happened? Tell me what happened. Give me the details. And he's just
Yeah.
silent. And I'm like, oh, that's it's still hurting him too. And then when he runs off and like, well, it was funny because before that happens, like the whole quote that I gave at the beginning of the episode,
Yeah. And that's when the
and
kids go rogue.
the kids are going rogue. And
Everyone get back in their seats. You see Ryuji get up, you see Kitamura get up, and
Amigata, yeah, and
Kushieda.
everyone gets up and leaves, and then like when Kushieda finally gets to Ryuji, and she's like,
Slap.
well, not even the slap, it's the fact that she's out of breath, and she goes, "Wait, stay right there for a minute." All right, cool. Slap. And then
Slap.
she's like, "How dare you come back without her?" And he was like, "What do you want me to say? Like, she
This
wasn't
is
there when I was there." And I was like, when he and I like the fact that he harped on what the teacher had said, is that he has to basically, that's the
sure.
decision that Taiga made. He has to accept that decision.
And he trusts, and he's like, and he trusts her decision. He has to trust her
Yeah.
that she's doing what needs to be done. So then we see life continues on, but everyone's still optimistic that Tyga's going to eventually return and stuff like that. And then we get to the graduation
They
day.
get everybody gets. Did y'all get the same text as me? Oh, this one. What do you think it means? Oh, it means that she's watching over. She's not dead.
Don't speak as if she's dead. But no, it's just I want to like jump over that because I don't want to go into too deep of a detail, because Kushiega's speech is really good, and I want people to hear
Right?
her
Yeah.
speech about the star, because I was like, that was really good, and that again made me cry even more. So then we got to the graduation scene and everything. We see the last day of high school, and everyone's like happy and cheery. We look up, we see Tyga. Oh my god,
Wrong,
Ryuji.
wrong. We see Tyga's hair,
We
and
see
we're like, oh, it's Tyga. Let's get going.
So Ryuji's just like, all right, I bought it. He gets to the classroom, silence. But he's just kind of like, no, big brain move. I know where to check.
Check the locker.
Utility closet. And you just see tiny Taiga right there. I'm just like, oh, Taiga. And he finally says, "I love you," because there was a message before where it's just like
Oh,
he
when they
didn't
got
say,
interrupted and he never told her that he loved her, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he was like, I never did. We kept on getting interrupted. And I was like, dang, that's
and then she
true.
said klutz because she's just kind of like, yeah, you were the klutz in this one, weren't you? I'm just kind of like, oh, so he finally says it, and she's kind of like, oh, you didn't say it in the right mood. You have to set the mood. So we get set with a happy ending, and then we have the thought of they do get together.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to know like how her situation is with her family and stuff like that is now. But maybe that's for another time. So we are coming to the end of the episode. Like I said, this is a freaking amazing anime. I suggest people watch it.
Mhm.
And you know what? I'm going to show you why you should watch it because we're going to describe some of our scenes that we absolutely freaking love. Because, like I said, this is a comedy. So, Wesley, how about you go first with your favorite comedic scene when it comes to this show?
There are so many.
I
Um,
have so many.
though, like the one I just talked about when it came to the star. Oh, did y'all get the same text message as
Mhm.
me? And they show each other the
Yeah.
star and be like, oh, I know what she's saying. She's saying she's watching over us. She's not dead. And I'm like, dang, that much like wow. And then I think the other one was oh man, there's the one where they're passing the note, right?
Yeah.
Um and Ryuji asks Kushieda, how do you feel about people not being true to themselves? And she literally stands up, does the circle, and then and you hear ding dong.
Dong.
And I'm like, yo, what is going on?
It's like it's not that serious, Kushiega. But no, I have to talk about my one singular favorite scene throughout this whole series. Because I'm just sitting there. Actually, I have two. My first favorite scene is when we show up at the train platform right before we get to the beach house and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're doing their little ding.
We see them doing this dance at first. I'm just kind of like, oh no, they're idiots. It's like, good day to travel by train, isn't it? But then, we flash forward just a little bit. Ami's showing up. She's like, okay, well, this is the train platform. I hope they're not late. Looks over. We see Ryuji, but then we see four pairs of arms and stuff like that. And then we just see like the backside of Ryuji, where it's just Kitamura, Kushiega,
Tiger.
and Taiga. And then so Avi's just kind of like, I must be at the wrong platform. And then we just see them, you can never escape us.
Just Ami turns around to walk away. You can never escape us, Ami. Like, oh my gosh.
You can't escape us, Avi. Where are you going? Like that was the first scene that like
Or
I replayed it.
the one
I
that I
replayed that scene so many times, and I'm just like, this can't be
the
happening.
one scene that I like is when it involves the teacher because she's like this is my last chance as a 20 something, and I was like oh my gosh. And it's when she's sitting there, she's trying to write something down on the board, and they're all talking about like the summer and everything,
Oh yeah, the pool is
and yeah,
opening.
and they're like you hear some of the kids, I got to do something about this flab under my arms, and then you hear the teacher go, what are you talking about? You're still young. And then you hear Avi sit there and say something, and she goes, what are you talking about? You're a model. You're not even supposed to be here.
That's just like the anger that we were feeling. I was like, oh my god, teacher, calm down.
And
One
then
more.
you got freaking Haruta. And Haruta's like, I feel like Haruta was like the main person who was supposed to be the comic relief. Cause he's like, yeah, I don't get what's going on, but I like it. Like what?
Oh my god! But then he came up with some of the like most like thoughtful decisions when it came to the wrestling thing, and everyone's just like, "Yeah,
He
Haruka
sat
actually
here, he
created
wrote
it,
out the entire thing. And I thought the
making good out
one,
of a bad situation
right?
because they didn't want to do the pro wrestling. Like, who put this in here? You see the teacher. I'm like, Teach, calm down.
And she's like, during the freaking performance, this is the thread to our homeroom teacher's soulmate. No, give it back, give it back. And you see her stand up trying to get the thread, and they're like, boys, hoist her away.
Oh my god. But no, so one more scene that I have to describe is inside the thing. So here, let me paint the scene out for you. We have our main group. Remember, our main group is 3 girls and 2 boys. So we're inside the beach house.
You're going about the freaking beach house. All right.
We're inside the beach house, right? You know, Ryuji is talking to Ami, Kushiega, and Taiga, and they were all talking about the food and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you hear Kitamura's voice, and you see his face, and he walks down, and you see Taiga just look. She like, ooh, because Kitamura comes out. He's like, oh, dinner. Oh, dinner must be. You said dinner's almost ready. You see everyone just stare, shocked, right? Taiga, ooh, face. Ryuji's just kind of like, oh my god, Taiga. And I was just like, oh my god. He's just like, oh my god, why'd you come down here like this? So we came back over, like, what's wrong with Kitamura? Kitamura's like, oh, sorry, I thought Ryuji was the only one in here. And I'm like, why is he saying that? Camera pans down. My guy is butt naked with just a towel covering his front, not even the back. We see his cheeks. And I'm just like, this boy really came down here naked? What? And then Kushiega starts taking photos, like, oh my god, yeah, like the sexual narcissist, yeah, work it. I'm just like, why are you taking photos? And he's like, Kushiega, come on. You see him raise the hand that was holding the towel. So I'm just like, he drops the towel. So we start seeing it flutter down. You start seeing Shiega's face move from like absolute excitement to
oh my god.
Black hairy mass.
Seaweed.
I'm just like, Kushiega, not Kushiega, Kitamura. You are supposed to be the smartest one in the room. Why did you think this was a good idea?
All right, so one question I want to ask before we end off.
Yeah?
Do you think I did a good job in having you watch Toradora for the first time?
Yes. Okay, so I will admit this. This was really good. Like I said, I was in shonen mindset when I first started watching this, but then I absolutely fell in love with this show. Even though it's not shonen, it's a rom-com. It is a rom-com. I hate rom-coms, but I love this one. So yes, you did a great job having me watch it.
Cool. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because this is going up on YouTube.
Yes.
I don't even know what to comment. Have you watched Toradora? Please let us know. If you've watched it, do you think it's a masterpiece?
Do you think it's a masterpiece? Or what about it makes it a masterpiece?
True. Without that, well, actually, without being said, let's go ahead and end this off. Would you like to do the honors?
Yes, of course. So, I hope you guys all enjoyed your visit to
the Underground
Geek Shack. See you guys.